Hi everyone, this is Krisha Young here, and in today's video, I wanted to address something that has been coming up in my awareness through like friends and clients and stuff like that recently that I really wanted to address. And this is the need for external validation. This has actually come up for me too. So this is the need for external validation to give us that battery charge that we need in order to feel good, right? So there's two sides to this. And I'm just here for the Savasana sweater here tonight. So something super nice and casual for everybody. This is a very tender and possibly touchy subject because it depends on where you are on the self-love scale. And what can happen a lot of the times is we have a tendency to seek some sort of mirroring, reflection, validation, love, support, sense of belongingness from the outside, right? And I do this, a lot of people do this. And this has become so present and aware through my friends and through some clients in the last week or so, and also through myself. And I realized that for myself, there were some parts where I was like, oh, wow, look at, I'm needing somebody outside of me to help me with something. And what this does, the reason why I'm bringing this up and the reason why this is something that is tender is because when we are not giving that level of love and esteem and worth to ourselves, and we're looking at it from the outside, what happens is if that is taken away, you crumble because you don't have an internal sense of worth. All of your worth comes from what everybody outside of you thinks. All of your decision making, all of your knowing comes from what everybody outside of you thinks. And it's a dangerous place to play in because, like I said, if they go away, you're left with nothing, right? You're building a house of cards on quicksand. You're left with nothing. And if all of a sudden, all of that external validation was to go away, how do you know how good you are? How do you know how worthy you are? How do you know how smart you are? How do you know how validated you are? You don't, because you are not getting that reflection from the outside, right? And so the key here is to, first of all, come to a recognition that you do this. And this is a hard thing to admit because strong, powerful, confident women won't admit this. I know I didn't. No, I don't need anybody outside of me to tell me like how badass I am, except, oh yeah, I did. And when I started to see all of the places that I was needing an external validation, an external source of love, of excitement, of reflection, of worth, anything like that. When I saw that, I was like, oh, that is not me providing that for me. That is me looking to the outside And when that outside source is taken away, you crumble. Okay. So what I want you to do is, and I know that you do this, no shame, none whatsoever. Okay. We're really not taught how to love ourselves, especially women who are like in their 40s, like the Gen Xers and all that. We were not taught this. This is not something that we were really exposed to for the most part, okay, about how to self-love ourselves. And it's been like really beautiful to see more and more of that coming out over the last several years, in programs and in articles and in magazines and things like that, which is so beautiful. But I still see it in women, and it is this like, I feel amazing because I got this validation, that validation, this validation, that validation, and it's all external. None of it is, I feel amazing today because I meditated and I got to like some pretty serious insights into what's next for me, or why I do this particular thing, and how I want to speak this thing, or what I want to say to that person, right? There's a very, very, very big difference between getting all of that external validation and having that be the barometer of your mood, and having a very strong inner core where you know who you are and you are very deeply tapped in and tuned in, and you know how to get there. This is what I teach women how to do, right? You know how to get there. And then your source of validation comes from here. It doesn't come from that outside. And so what can happen is, as the world is spinning and doing its thing around you, you're here, right? All those things go away. I mean, we've literally just experienced through coronavirus a ton of stuff going away, right? A lot. And out of our control, like completely out of our control right now. And if that was something that was a source for you of love, entertainment, experience, validation, then you're crumbling. And this can happen with money, right? So when we are getting clients, or we're getting paid, or we're getting recognized, or something like that, we're getting awards or whatever it is, now we have an external validation of how amazing we are, right? Take all that away, do you feel amazing anymore? Promotions, like getting promoted at work, right? All of that stuff. If that is where you're putting your attention for having that reflection of how amazing you are, when those things go away, which they will, you're gonna crumble. Okay. So I invite you to, first of all, be brave, be courageous, and say to yourself, you know what? I do this, right? It's never, ever easy to look at the truth and to see the truth. It really, really isn't. But it's the most liberating thing that you can ever do, because now what can happen is you can say, holy moly, wow, I really put a lot of my own inner self-worth on the validation that I'm getting from my clients, from my friends, from my family, from whatever it is, from my guy, my partner, right? And if all of that was to go away tomorrow or today, I would be a shell of a person. It takes a lot of courage to look at that, to admit it, and to say, okay, now what do I do about this, right? And so what do you do about it? Well, first of all, I would encourage you to, you can journal. If journaling is comfortable for you or whatnot, just really start to become really aware, right? So this is the process that I take my clients through, and through personal coaching or through the Ascension program. where there is a sense of awareness, right? Like, where in your life are you doing this? So to give you an example, for me, most recently in coronavirus was how much of my own excitement and entertainment came from being able to go out for dinner and go out for a drink with friends and take my kids out for lunch and like out, go out and be with people and be at a restaurant. Like, I love that stuff so much. Traveling, being able to travel, all of those things, being able to go to networking events, being, like, there was all these things that I was getting an external source of excitement from. So when everything shut down, like many of you, I was like, okay, crap, now what? And for me, what had surfaced was, wow, I put a lot of external expectation on me being entertained from something, or excited from something outside of me. And when I recognized that, I was like, okay, time to get to work. And so getting to work meant, now I'm going to meditate. Now I'm going to journal. Now I'm going to go within. And now I'm going to ask myself, what can I do for me that's exciting and entertaining and doesn't need anything outside of me? What are the things that I love to do that excite and entertain me that don't need another soul? And I had my kicking and screaming, this isn't fair though. I had all of that. I processed all of that. And then I started to look into what are the ways that I can entertain myself without needing that external validation. I've been through this process for myself with love, with self-esteem, with self-worth, with so many other things. I'm just using a very simple example of something that recently came up for me in coronavirus. So where you are, you might be like really needing a self-esteem and a self-worth and a self-love boost from an external source. So look at that, please. This is really, really important, because if you're looking to your boyfriend or girlfriend or whatever it is, your partner, to give you something, and if they were to go away, or when they go away, you feel empty, or you're feeling empty in between the times of receiving said validation, whatever way it shows up, then you know that you are you're not solid within, right? You are not providing yourself with that source of love, of excitement, of validation. It is all external. So look at that, please. This is so important. We have the time right now, so please do it. And then when you are like, oh, okay, right there, okay, be compassionate, be gentle with yourself, be loving. There's no judgment here. We all do this, right? Like, this is part of the journey. And it's just a matter of, okay, I can see I'm doing it in these places. Pick one place, pick one thing, and then ask yourself the question that I ask myself. How can I provide this for myself? How can I increase my own value, my own worth, my own love, my own inner knowing, my own everything, whatever it is, excitement, so that I'm not reliant on outside forces? And then what ends up happening is, when you are able to just completely, totally entertain yourself, love yourself, validate yourself, all of that kind of stuff, holy smokes, it creates such a solid powerhouse of a woman that she's also fluid and in flow and in feminine touch and in her goddess, that is powerful and attracts in people and opportunities and things that are really next level, because now you are out of the codependency trap. And so if you've been attracting the same kind of partner and you're just like, if you're attracting the same kind of client, the same kind of job, the same kind of, chances are this is what's part of what is behind the scenes for you. And looking at this and working on this is going to give you an opportunity to be able to say, no, I'm worth more. And I know I'm worth more because now I know my worth. And I know how to love myself. I know how to validate myself. I know how to take care of myself. I know how to high five myself. I know how to pleasure myself. I know all of these things. So now I don't need somebody else. And it is so beautiful and so gracious to receive it from the outside when it does come, but it doesn't impact your mood in any way, shape, or form. It's like, oh, thank you so much that you said that. I really, really appreciate that. That's really beautiful that you think that about me. Thank you. And meanwhile, you're like, yeah, I know. You don't have to say that, but inside you're like, yeah, I know. Which is a very different energy than, oh, is that, you might not be saying this out loud, but you might be saying this in your head, or you might be getting some sort of like, oh, I did it right, or I got it right, or yay, they're recognizing something about me. They're seeing me, right? This is that inner child stuff that is the deeper work, which is so, so beautiful. And I really invite you to go on this journey and to do this for yourself, because oh my gosh, there's nothing like it at the other side. And obviously this is what I help people with. So if you're needing a little bit of assistance with this, which I did, and we all do, because we all have these shadow patterns and things at play that we just can't see sometimes. So if that is something that you need some support with, then please feel free to reach out. But in the meantime, there's no shame in this. Acknowledge it, look at it, see it, okay. And then journal. How can I provide myself with this thing that I've been seeking from the outside? And, whatever comes up for you, use your intuition and just go and do that thing. Okay. So thank you so much for watching this video, and I will see you on the next one. So go and love yourself hard.